Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something that honestly sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, but it is actively transforming healthcare right now. We're looking at a massive paradigm shift where cutting-edge artificial intelligence isn't replacing the human touch, it's actually validating ancient, holistic health principles. We are literally moving from a world that merely manages illness to one that actively creates health.
Just think about this for a second. What if a computer could actually predict your next hospital visit, years before you even felt a tickle in your throat? I mean, for centuries, medicine has been incredibly reactive, right? We wait for the engine to start smoking before we even think about opening the hood. But what if we could prevent the crash before the warning lights ever even come on?
All right, so let's dive into this. We really need to look at the fundamental difference between our current model and where healthcare is heading. Traditional medicine has accomplished absolute miracles for sure, but it's often organized into isolated organ-based silos, like a cardiologist for your heart, a neurologist for your brain. It is highly reactive. The big flaw here is waiting around for a severe clinical diagnosis, especially when we know that chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, or depression actually brew in the background for decades. Whole person care, on the flip side, recognizes that our bodies are deeply interconnected systems. It's totally proactive, focusing on the root causes rather than just slapping a Band-Aid over the symptoms.
Because here's the thing, the human body absolutely isn't just a collection of separate parts. It's this beautifully complex, interconnected biological network. Your immune system is basically constantly texting your nervous system. Your gut health dictates your brain function and your immunity. What this means is that your lifestyle, your stress levels, your environment, and your nutrition are constantly altering your biology. A shift in one system, say you go through a period of prolonged emotional stress, inevitably ripples out to influence your hormones, your metabolism, and even your heart.
So you might be wondering, how on earth do we actually track this massive interconnected web before it completely unravels? Well, the game changer here is continuous data streams. Instead of just relying on that quick 15-minute snapshot when you visit the clinic once a year, AI models are now calculating long-term disease trajectories by taking in a continuous stream of personal health data. And they achieve this through things like wearable devices, remote monitoring technologies, and broader digital health platforms, which are then combined with some seriously advanced scientific inputs like genomics and metabolomics.
Think about the smartwatch you probably have on your wrist right this second. Rather than waiting for a clinical diagnosis, these AI tools track real-time physiological and behavioral changes. They calculate risk by pinpointing subtle early warning signs, things like a gradual decline in your physical activity, maybe some minor sleep disturbances, subtle arrhythmias, metabolic deterioration, elevated stress hormones, and increasing waist circumference or even unhealthy dietary patterns. Basically, your watch knows you've been skipping the gym and stressing over emails for years before any obvious symptoms ever force you to go see a doctor.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the AI actually uses all this data. Enter a concept called holistic risk stratification. It's kind of like a computational superpower. Using predictive analytics and machine learning algorithms, the AI isn't just looking at your heart rate in a vacuum. It continuously assesses your data against a comprehensive, interconnected set of biological, psychological, social, environmental, and even spiritual risk factors. It is literally building a complete, high-definition picture of your unique human biology.
By synthesizing all of these complex data points, AI models provide unprecedented insight into your personal health patterns. The AI can literally map out your disease trajectory. Imagine this scenario. In month 1, it detects elevated stress hormones. By year 2, it maps that to sleep and metabolic disruption. And by year 5, it accurately predicts a clinical diagnosis. This is what we call anticipatory prediction, identifying people at an increased risk of disease progression years before the clinical manifestations get severe enough to land them in a hospital.
Ultimately, this unbelievable computational ability gives healthcare systems a massive upgrade. It allows us to operationalize proactive, anticipatory medicine at an incredible scale. We simply no longer have to wait for a disease to firmly establish itself. We can calculate the risks super early and systematically trigger personalized interventions to correct biological imbalances while they are still easily reversible.
It helps to think of this new healthcare model kind of like an air traffic control system. First, the AI identifies that long-term risk trajectory. Say, it flags someone heading straight towards severe metabolic syndrome. This immediately triggers an alert to a community health navigator. This person acts as a central coordinator who steps in to coordinate very personalized interventions. They might set up a specialized nutrition plan, mindfulness training, or a community yoga program. The biological imbalance is corrected early, safely preventing the crash before it ever even has a chance to happen.
And honestly, there is such a beautiful irony here, don't you think? It takes cutting-edge supercomputers and artificial intelligence to finally validate ancient wisdom. Holistic mind-body interventions like yoga and meditation, well, they aren't just light exercise. They create coordinated, highly measurable adaptations across multiple body systems. They balance the autonomic nervous system, reduce inflammation, and enhance cellular energy. The AI shows us exactly how these traditional practices restore physiological balance and build long-term resilience.
And look, the need for this shift, it has literally never been more urgent. If we zoom out to the macro level for a second, roughly 30% of adults currently have at least one chronic disease. Conditions like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and anxiety, they evolve gradually over years. Treating these purely through reactive, hospital-centered models is placing a completely unsustainable financial and operational burden on global healthcare systems today.
Plus, the economics of this are just staggering. If you look at a population of, say, 100,000 adults, an annual investment of about £3.3 million in community-based holistic interventions yields roughly £13 million in estimated savings. That's a net annual savings of £9.7 million. It proves definitively that proactive, holistic prevention isn't just good for the patient, it is overwhelmingly cost-effective for society as a whole.
By implementing these targeted community approaches, like, for example, a structured community yoga program, we're seeing a return on investment of roughly 4 to 1, which is huge because by systematically reducing blood pressure, improving mobility, and lowering obesity early on, we drastically reduce the need for hospital admissions, expensive medications, and frequent doctor consultations down the line. It's a total win-win for everyone involved.
So, the crucial takeaway from all of this is that we're looking at a fundamental shift in our entire goal as a society. By integrating the predictive power of AI with the holistic wisdom of complementary medicine, we are fundamentally reimagining healthcare. The primary objective is no longer just managing illness and desperately reacting to disease. It's about actively cultivating lifelong health, true resilience, and genuine human empowerment. Which brings us to one final thought to leave you with today. We've seen how our daily habits, our sleep, our stress, our movement, they're all constant biological communications with ourselves. If your continuous data has the very real power to rewrite your long-term biological destiny, what choice will you make today? Thanks so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.